Hello there, it's me, Brady. Welcome back to the Unity Crash Course series for beginners on creating one's first game. In this final episode of this series, we'll be creating an ending for the game here after we've collected all of our gems. This will include text that shows up when we've collected all gems, and then a goal that will be unlocked in our maze, and our ability to enter into that goal and win the game. All shown on the screen currently. I will also be showing you how to export your game so that you can play it out of the Unity engine. So, let's end off this series with a bang and begin. So to start, let's go into our maze here and decide where we're going to put our goal, which our player will walk into to finish the game. So I am going to choose right here. I think this looks like a good spot. So what we're going to do is take a wall that is nearby, duplicate it, and bring it out a little bit. So this works best with the end of corridors because you can block it in so that the player won't be able to enter into there until they have collected all their gems. So I would choose the end of a corridor, such as this one, for your maze, because of course your maze will probably look different than mine. So now, inside of our goal here, we're going to need a few things. And to start, let's add a cube that is going to contain the box collider that our player will enter whenever they have collected all their gems and have come to the goal and are ready to finish the game. So what we're going to do is put the cube here in our goal. Let's come to the size tool and stretch it out. And let's also scale it upwards. So we'll come up here to the Y and scale it as such. So now that it covers the whole of the goal. So, of course, doing this allows us to see the cube a lot easier than we would if it were an empty game object. So that is why we are using a cube, other than instead of using an empty game object. So the way to get rid of this cube, because of course we can't have it here, but we need to keep the box collider, is to come up here to Mesh Renderer and tick this off. And that will get rid of the Mesh Renderer without getting rid of the box collider. So we'll also come and check is trigger on the box collider, of course, so that we're able to enter it in with our player. And now I have a little beginning of the video challenge for you. So, as you recall, whenever we made the gems, what we had to do with the box collider of our gems is give it a special tag so that whenever our player enters it, we know that we are entering into a collectible. I would like you to do the same for this cube, but instead give it another tag that is called goal. I'll give you a few moments now to pause the video and do that. So the way to do that is to have this cube selected, come up here to tag, use this drop down menu to add another tag, press this plus icon, type in goal, hit save. Now we're going to come back to our cube here, press untagged again, and now goal will be there for us to select. And we can also call this cube goal. Alright, so now inside of our goal, we're going to need two things to make it look good. We'll need a particle system and a point light, just like our gems. So let's come over to our goal here. We'll right click, come down to light, and select point light. So now the settings that we are going to need for our point light is, we'll set the range to be 12, Intensity will be 11. And you can choose whatever color that you would like. I will be choosing a neon green as shown at the beginning of the video. Alright, and for our particle system, we're going to add it the same way that we did our point light. So we're going to come down here to Goal, right click, Effects, and Particle System. Alright, and now our settings for the particle system are going to be the following. So we're going to change the start speed to be 1. And now we're going to come down here to our color and set it to be a neon green, as you saw at the beginning of the video. However, you can choose whatever color you like. Now we're going to come down to emission and change the rate over time to be 75. Alright, now we'll come to our shape and set our shape to be sphere. And we can edit our radius just enough to where it's not clipping out of the walls too much, because yours may be different, so you can increase it or decrease it depending on how much it is trying to escape the walls here. Alright, so now with that done, we can come to color over a lifetime, check mark it, and set this color down here to be 0 and alpha so that they disappear over time. And now we can take our particle system and move it up a little bit. And there we go. Now we have our particle system completed, as well as the rest of our gold. Okay, so now with our particle system complete, we'll need a few more UI elements. So let's double click on our canvas to focus in on it. And we're going to need 2 more text components. So let's click on our text here, duplicate it, drag it down a little bit, and we'll need text that says, "You have found all gems. Locate the exit." Alright, now we can scale that down a little bit so that it fits under our gems collected, and I think that looks pretty good. Yep. Alright, and now we'll need 1 more line of text, so we can duplicate this text here. And now let's drag it over to the center. Actually, we can set its position to be 0 to 0. And now we'll have it say, "You won." And let's have that be center aligned. And we'll set the color to be a nice bright yellow. And let's scale it up a little bit more. I think that looks nice. Yep. So this line of code right here is going to show once we've collected all of our gems, of course. And this line of code is going to show whenever we have entered in to our goal here. So now to finish all this off, let's come into our player movement script. And let's add in a few variables here. So come to the top, and the new variable that we're going to need is a different type. We're going to need 4 more. So it is a public, and the type is game object, and we are going to call it other text. So now the next one is going to be a public game object, and we're going to call it win. And now we're going to need a public game object, and we're going to call it wall. And then we're going to need one final one, public game object, and it's going to be gold. So with all of these variables created, we now need to hide all of these 3 at the beginning of the game, because we can't have the text, of course, that shows that we've collected all the gems at the beginning of the game. This win variable will contain the you win text, so obviously we can't have that showing at the beginning of the game. And we can have the particle system and light showing at the beginning of the game. So we're going to hide those all in the start function. So come over to the start function, and we're going to type in at the beginning other text. And if you remember from dot game object dot set active parentheses false semicolon. So now we can copy that, and now we'll do it for wall dot game object dot set active is false. And now for, oh notes, not wall, win. And then for goal, it'll be the same way. So now that we've got all those hidden at the very beginning, we can now come down to our on trigger enter here, and we need for it to notice if we have collected all of our gems. So the way to do that is to come to the very end of our collecting gem here, and we're going to add another if statement to check if all the gems have been collected. So we'll write if parentheses curly brackets and enter. And the condition that we'll need is if score equals and the amount of gems that you had for your maze. So add 10. So I put if score equals 10. Then what we'll need to do is set all of those previous game objects to be true besides the win game object. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and take this and put it right there, and then we'll grab these two and we can move them right down into our if statement here. Okay. So let's set this to be true so that it will unhide the game objects instead of hiding them. And now we need to make it so that it's recognized if we walk into our goal here. So because we set it to trigger on its box collider, we can use the on trigger enter function. And let's copy this because we'll need it. But instead of the tag being collectible, we're going to set it to what we set our goal tag to be, which is goal. And then we can put our curly brackets here, press enter. All right. So now we need to set our variable that is holding our uWin text to be active. So the way to do that is to do win, and then we can take this line of code right here, copy it, and paste it right here. And with that, everything that we need to do in this script is now complete. So why don't we see it work in action? Oh wait, we need to set our wall to be false whenever the score equals 10. I'm sorry about that. All right, there we are. Let's minimize this, compile. All right, now come into our player, and let's drag our text here that has the you have found all gems to other text. We'll drag the win text as well. Now we can come and also drag our goal into our goal variable, and then let's come into our scene here, find out where our wall is, which is right there. All right, so let's go ahead and call this wall so we can quickly come back to it. Then we'll come up here to player, and now to lock the screen so that it doesn't move away from you whenever you click something else in the hierarchy, you can come up here and press this padlock here. And now I can press anything in the hierarchy and it will keep up our player inspector here. So we can come down here to where it says wall and drag it in here for our wall component. So now with that, let's make sure that everything works in our script by coming up and pressing play. If you want to make this move a little bit faster, you can come over here to move speed and increase it a little bit to make yourself go through the moves a little bit quicker. Alright, so yep, our text of course works, and now our wall has disappeared. So let's come to the exit here. Alright, and then when we enter into our green mist here, our U1 text pops up on screen. So now that our game is officially complete, we can close out of play mode, and now we can build our whole game so that we can play it outside of the Unity engine. So let's go ahead and save all of our work by pressing Control S or coming to File and Save. Alright, now come up to File, and then to build it, we're going to come over to Build Settings, and that'll open up this tag right here. So we need to add open scene so that our scene is going to load up, and we can select whatever operating system that your computer runs on. I'll be selecting 86_64. Not the operating system, of course, but y'all know what I mean, probably. Alright, and now once you've got that proper, you can come down here and click Build, and then it'll show you a file that you are going to build your game in. I already have a select file for finished games, so we'll just come in here and create a new file, and you can call it whatever you want, just like we did with the project file, and select this file here, and now it'll build for you. And this game isn't too big, so it shouldn't take too long. Okay, whenever that is finished, it should automatically open up the file, and now if you press on the game here, it should open. Alright, and you'll see that whenever you load up, you are now in your game. So I can come down here and collect all the gems the exact same way, except now I have it on a monitor. So we'll just go by and collect all of our gems again, just to show that it's still working after having exported our game. Alright, and there we go. So the series here is now coming to a close. There will be one more episode that we'll be uploading in the next 24 hours to show you just what you can do with what you've written in this code. However, it is not much of a tutorial episode, as it is hopefully a push in the right direction for all you beginners out there. So you can stick around if you'd like to see that, and I'll be signing off now. Thank you all so much for watching my whole series here on Unity and C#. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.